Alright, today we will be looking at neutralization reaction. So in this practical, the material that we are using are 0.5 molar sodium hydroxide, 0.5 molar hydrochloric acid. We will use litmus paper, evaporating dish, tripod stand, gauze mat, Bunsen burner, bench mat, and tweezer, and of course a litmus paper. So in this experiment we will be testing the reaction of acid with base, and it should give you a salt and water. So I have shown you the color change on the litmus paper. To begin with, acidic solution will give you a pink color on a litmus paper, and then a basic solution will give you a dark blue, blue color. And for a neutral solution, you meant to see a combination between these two colors, which is giving you a mouth solution, a mouth color. So if you see, it's actually a violet, pinkish color on a litmus paper. So this is what you expect to see when you do your experiment. So we will start with measuring 10 mils of your sodium hydroxide using a measuring cylinder. So I have already poured in 10 mils solution of your 0.5 molar sodium hydroxide. So remember, you need to read the volume from the bottom of the meniscus. So you pour it into your evaporating dish. So 10 mils in there, and then you will need to put your litmus paper. So I'll take one of the litmus paper, and then you need to put it in there, and you need to note the color. So the starting color is actually dark blue or bluish purple, and when you add the acid in there, you meant to actually see the color change of your litmus paper. So we will start with 8 mils of your sodium, 8 mils of your hydrochloric acid added into your evaporating dish together with the sodium hydroxide. So at this time, because the acid is still not a lot in there, so the color change is actually not that obvious. So we meant to actually stir it. And the next step is like to add dropwise of your hydrochloric acid and with into your solution mixture, and continue stir it until you see a permanent color change on your litmus paper. So I will do bit by bit. So if you look at the litmus paper, the color is still the same as before. If let's say you add too much of your hydrochloric acid, then you will probably just need to neutralize it with a little bit of the base to bring the pH up a little bit more. But at the moment, I think we are fine. So we just need to be careful of adding it dropwise. So I think it's close now. So everything is close now. Okay. So we'll stop at this color. If you look at the color of your pH litmus paper, it is actually a lot different to what the original color was. So now we need to remove the litmus paper, and we need to actually evaporate the solution to see what we get at the end of the chemical reaction. So we'll put it on top of your gauze mat, and we will turn the Bunsen burner on. So I'll just move the Bunsen burner out so I can see where it is. And remember to turn off, to close your Bunsen burner, to close the hole so that you can actually have a working flame, which is a safe flame. I'll turn the tap on. Alright. So once you have got the safety flame, you can now adjust it to a blue flame by opening the air hole. You put it underneath your evaporating dish, and you need to actually wait until the solution has evaporated. So while having that going, if you look back at the reaction, you actually have got acid plus base, and all acid plus base reaction will give you a salt and water. So in this case, the acid that we are working with is hydrochloric acid, and the base is sodium hydroxide. So with these two reactions, you should form a salt, which is a sodium chloride, and water. So when we evaporating the water from the evaporating dish, we should be able to get a solid form from the reaction, which is the sodium chloride. And if you look at the question, they actually ask you. So the first question they were asking you was what was the liquid that was evaporated. So that was easy by looking at the reaction that I showed you before, and what was the salt form. So it's the same. It's easy. And name the reactant of the reaction. So if you look at a chemical equation, whatever that is on the left hand side of your equation is always the reactant, and whatever that is on the right hand side is always the product. So in this case, we have got two reactants here, which is the hydrochloric acid and the sodium hydroxide are the two reactants. And the two products are, of course, the sodium chloride and water. So now I need to actually stir the solution. If you see that there's quite like a few of the liquid has been evaporated, but we still need to evaporate it. We still need to evaporate all of the liquid from the evaporating dish to be able to so that we can actually get the salt that was formed from the acid and base reaction. So now we need to actually turn the Bunsen burner a little bit lower, so just adjust it so that the flame is actually not that strong. I'll just adjust the gas. Alright, so I'll continue to stir until all the liquid is evaporated. So I got halfway there. We still need to wait for a bit. So it's almost there. just a little bit more to go. We started to see a small coating on the side of your evaporating dish, because the reaction is actually not completed yet, so you could see just a tiny bit. Now most of the solution has evaporated, and you can actually see more salt forming. And I'll just turn the Bunsen burner off and I'll show you the solid. That was okay. So if you actually, so I turn the Bunsen burner off. So if you actually look inside the evaporating dish, you could actually see quite a bit of salt forming, and that is your sodium chloride. So the rest of the question are just asking you to write word equation for the reaction that is taking place in the evaporating dish, as well as write a balance equation for the chemical reaction that takes place as well. So that's all.